All right, we are moving into chapter 13, so we're going to take some notes before I post more work in Edsby. I don't want you to get ahead of me and not understand what you were actually doing. So hopefully you did the review today from chapter 12. It was just a quick little check to see if you know how to do decimals and fractions. And now we're going to move into 13. So we're starting with customary units of length, and you can see that I've got a table that shows how much 1 foot, 1 yard, and 1 meter are equal to. So if you could take a minute and jot this chart down in your notebook and label your page, that will be helpful during this chapter for you. The reason that there's an arrow going from the right to the left is because that's how many of those units are inside the other units. So for example, I'm trying not to make you sick on my phone here while I move it. 12 inches are inside 1 foot. So 3 feet are equal to 1 yard. This one also says that 36 inches is equal to 3 feet or equal to 1 yard. And then this one is 1,760 yards are equal to 1 meter, or 5,280 feet are equal to 1 meter. All right, so I made a quick little problem for us to work through together. I'm picking on Juan today. It says Juan jogged 75 yards from his house to Dobie. How many feet did he jog? So we need to think about what function we're going to use and why. So are we going to multiply, divide, add, subtract? In this case, we're going to multiply. If you think about it, 1 yard has 3 feet in it. We're coming up with how many 75 yards has in it. So obviously our number needs to be bigger and not smaller. If we divided, we'd wind up with a smaller number. So we're going to take, let me get a pen here, 75 yards times 3 feet. So we start in the ones place. 5 times 3 is 15. Your ones go here, your tens get regrouped on top. 7 times 3 is 21, plus 1 is 22. So it's 225 feet. All right, so how do we know if we're reasonable and if we're correct? We could use an estimate. For example, use a number that's easier to work with. If you think back to basic math facts, we could use 80 times 3. So if I do 80 times 3, just to see if we're reasonable and if we're way off. So we know the basic math fact of 8 times 3. 8 times 3 is 24. So 80 times 3 is 240. It's just the next place value up. It's in the hundreds place. So we're pretty reasonable. Okay, because if our answer was 225, and if we round it up to 80 times 3 and it's 240, we know that we're pretty reasonable. Now the next problem is going to be from feet to inches. Remember, you can pause at any time and go back when you need to. So, Sarah has a patio that is 7 feet long. How many inches long is that? This time we're going to try creating a chart. Because if we're not solid with those multiplication facts, we could make an error. So if we make a chart, we'll need to list our feet and our inches. Start getting used to those abbreviations too, and I'm going to move my phone closer now. Okay, so you should know the customary units and their abbreviations. So feet and inches would be FT for feet and IN for inches. Okay, so here goes our chart. Just draw a quick one. It doesn't have to be fancy. Let me pick a darker marker here for you guys. So if I have 1 foot, I know that 1 foot, if I go back to the page we just took notes on, 1 foot is 12 inches. Okay? So you would just keep going down until you got to that number that we need for Sarah's problem. If we go back up to Sarah's problem, she has a 7-foot long patio. So we've got to go all the way down to 7 on our chart. 1 foot, 2 feet, 3 feet, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, and then on the other side, you're just gonna go up 12 every time. So if you're not good at multiplying, all you're gonna do is repeated addition. 12 plus 12, then another 12, and you keep going. So 2 times 12, or 12 plus 12, is 24. 12 times 3, or 12 plus 12 plus 12, is 36. 12 times 4, or 36 plus another 12, is going to be 48. And I'm going to give you a minute to try and think about 5, 6, and 7. So 12 times 5 is 60. 12 times 6 is 72. And 12 times 7 is 84, and that's the number that we need. So if we go back to our problem with Sarah's patio, we know that if her patio is 7 feet long, then in inches, it would measure 84 inches.